Now, I would like to invite Professor Mohammed Kashif to deliver the first webinar to start the webinar series. Professor Mohammed Kashif, please.
Thank you very much, Sudeep. Good afternoon to all of you. I would like to firstly thank all of you being there and Professor Hamdi and the rest of the colleagues there. I hope that all of us will benefit with the participation of each other. I will start the proceedings straight away with the webinar. Just let me share my screen. Can you see my screen?
Yes, Professor
Yes.
Kashif, we can.
Yes. Okay. And also, can you know who is going to moderate the session?
Devasiri?
All you have to do is press the presentation mode, sir, and you will be able to change the screens. That's all.
Definitely.
Yeah, yeah.
Definitely. I'll do that. So good afternoon, good morning, and good evening to all the participants who are joining us in this program from wherever in the world you are joining. I'm Mohammed Kashif. Today we'll be talking about the complexities and rationale of publishing in journals, and at the same time I'll be talking about as which journals I should opt for and what are the journals which I should avoid when it comes to publishing. Starting with the thanks with all the panelists, they really enriched and they really motivated with their talks recently. Uh, our agenda for today's presentation, I'll be talking about, as I said, is what is an academic journal, its purposes, its rationale. Then I'll move to how to study a journal, how to identify what is the scope, what is an audience, what is the readership of a particular journal. Later on, we'll be talking about quality parameters of a journal because it is very, very important for researchers to decide where they need to publish, as I said earlier, and where they should not publish. So what are the quality parameters? Mainly in the field of business and management and generally in the social sciences, where researchers should publish their work. There are few quality parameters which definitely help us and guide us as how to identify a journal and what are the quality journals, the scholarly, impactful journals. The very important part of the presentation would be how to identify the fake journals. And there are few signals based on my experience of publishing with Emerald and with other publishers as what are the various signals that tell us that the journal is fake in nature. And a personal reflection based on my, again, my experiences that where should I publish my work. So I'll start with the basic definition that what is an academic journal? Journal, it's a French word, which means that something which is recent, something which is updated, something which is daily. So I would take recent and updated that if I wanted to know that in a particular field, let's say in the field of business and management, in the field of healthcare, in the field of medical sciences, what is the new work that has been published? I can find it from the website of a journal. So journals are the outlet which publish the recent work or the updated work in a particular field. An academic journal, it definitely publishes cutting edge research. As I said, in the field of medicine, it could be education and business management, etc., etc. And a distinguishing characteristic of a journal is the scientific filter that they use while publish your research. You see, there is a process we call the double-blind peer review process, which, generally speaking, international journals follow. There are journals which follow this double-blind peer review process. It means that the authors do not know who is going to evaluate the article, and the reviewers do not know who are the authors of this paper. So that biasness can be managed somehow. There are then other criteria to evaluate an article. For example, what is the originality in this research? How well it is written? What is the quality that the methods were designed and presented? And at the same time, literature review and the theories and the managerial implications. So there is a scientific filter that usually journal reviewers use in order to evaluate an article. Historically, the first academic journal, which was named as Philosophical Transaction of the Royal Society, this started to publish in 1665, which is just like more than 350 years ago. And the core aim was to publish the research which can help the society and which can shape the society in a particular manner. Since then, journals are serving various purposes. For example, if I ask you that what are the purposes of an academic journal, why we need an academic journal? So one of the purposes that as an author, you can register your claim that you have presented an innovative idea which was accepted by community of scholars and it went through the scientific filter that I was recently talking about. Also at the same time, it acknowledges a fact that the peers or the reviewers and the editors, the whole team, they think that your presentation of science is actually correct. And the way you are presenting your work is actually meeting the scientific standards. So scientifically correct work is published in a journal. This is yet another claim that you can have that yes, because my work is published somewhere, it went through the scientific filter. Another is that journals provide you a platform where you can connect as an author, you can connect with yourself with the readers, and you can connect yourself with the editors, you can connect yourself with the students. Authors can also be the ones who are maybe the vice chancellors of the universities. The readers can be someone who is sitting in a management school, can be someone who is sitting in a let's say medical science and engineering from any background. So it provides you a platform to get yourself connected with your potential audience who is going to read your work, who is going to cite your work. So journals provide you such a platform. Another important purpose that journals serve is that availability of systematic and permanent record. Now, there are few journals which I know, they exist for more than 50, 60 years. Now that is a systematic and permanent record. If I wanted to know what was published in 1960s in a particular journal, probably I can find. And at the same time, 30 years ago, 20 years ago, what journals were publishing, although there is a scientific manner to keep a record of it as well, but I can understand from the journal website, or if someone publishes via print, I can understand this, that there is a systematic and permanent record kept so that readers can access whatever data they need. As I said, journals offer a platform for social networking because you can not only be known by your peers, but at the same time, you can show your work to your friends, to your students, and to the scholarly community that this is where something you have contributed to the society. A very important part is post-publication evaluation. And I would say that it positively enhances the credibility of a researcher. And post-publication evaluation is Best Reviewer Awards, Best Author Award, highly cited papers. Emerald offers a lot of such opportunities for scholars. So this post-publication evaluation is also part of a purpose because it is a sort of motivation for the people who are publishing, because publishing is not easy. It's quite a process which we need to learn, and in the upcoming webinars definitely we'll be talking about it. And journals are data sharing platforms for scientists. If you need data, let's say if I need to present a report to my manager, if I'm working somewhere in an organization, I can seek help from the journal website, and I can seek I can screen out some articles, I can seek some understanding as what has been published already in there, and what are the statistical as well as some conceptual understanding which I can have after reading a particular journal. Now, coming to the rationale of an academic journal after the purposes. Let's suppose you are an academic, okay, and you have conducted a research. Now, how would you share it among members of a scientific community? You see, one way to share your research is that you share it via Facebook. Okay, you announce that you have published something. Yet another approach could be that you may use some other social sharing platforms. But you see, all these social sharing platforms, they have some limitations. One of the limitations is, let's say, if I have 2,000 friends on Facebook, my work will be visible to probably not more than 2,000 people. But if I use an academic journal, if I get my work accepted by an academic audience and it is published on the journal website, I will be able to reach to a wider community. Okay. So one of the rationales to have an academic journal is that you can share, authors can share their work. And also there are so many other rationales, but I would say this is one of the very important rationales that you can share it among the members of a scientific community. Again, let us take another example. You are a manager and you have to make some decisions, okay? And decisions, you know, in this era where we are talking about big data and data science and issues like that, the decisions are based on some sort of data. So you can obtain some information which is scrutinized through scientific filter, which is available via academic journals. So in a way, as a manager, the rationale for having an academic journal is that it strengthens your argument even in front of the top management and in front of your peers. Now, let's say you are a potential job applicant and you are applying to a university, okay? And you would be surprised to know that your employers, most of the times, they might not directly ask you, rather they will read your work. So by reading your work, by following your work silently, maybe without telling you at times, they are able to assess you and they are able to know as what is your intellectual ability in terms of contributions, how well you can draft a problem and its solutions. What is your vision as a researcher, as a scholar? What do you see the problems around you? And at the same time, how rigorously you conducted the research, what were the scientific procedures that you follow in order to publish a work. So all that information can be actually obtained. Either you share it via Google Scholar or you share it via ResearchGate or you share it via your Emerald Publishing web link. Your work can be read, can be followed, and can easily be evaluated. So even if you are a potential job applicant, and for universities, if you are looking for a candidate, probably you will go to the journal website and you will definitely be reading the work of a scholar before the recruitment. One of the very important criteria these days. And also, you see that you have an idea that can reshape the manner this word thinks about something. Okay, so why not to publish it and why not to share it with the people of your community? They could be social scientists, they could be people from pure sciences, mathematics, physics, engineering, etc. Okay, so it enhances your credibility and at the same time authenticity of you as a scholar and also the credibility and authenticity of the idea which has actually been accepted by an academic audience. Also, if you would like to see that how knowledge in a particular field is advancing, this is yet another rationale to have an academic journal. Otherwise, I don't know what is being published without having a look at the publication. I don't know what is happening in a particular field. For example, HR, marketing, branding, these are my areas. So what I usually do, I regularly visit the website of few journals that what are they publishing. So it helps me as a researcher, as a student, as a scholar, it helps me to understand that what has been happening around in my field. So these are few of the rationale to have an academic journal. Um, a very important question, why to publish in academic journals? And over the years, when I spoke with academics, they have some problems in publishing in journals. I'm not going to talk about in this webinar how to get published, but publishing is an issue with journals. So I will not be addressing the question as how to publish, but I would be talking about the benefits of publishing in journals today. For example, if you see, there is a list of personal benefits as well as some institutional benefits. When I say personal benefits, it is financially rewarding. I know there are a lot of universities, they have very good reward system developed for the scholars who are publishing in good journals. Likewise, promotion opportunities in Pakistan, and I know just a few other countries as well, where your promotion is closely knitted with your ability to publish in international journals. It gives you recognition among peers. You can have a progressive career. Most importantly, among financial reward, you can become part of a global community. As I said, because your work is shared, you don't know either someone living in Ethiopia or someone living in Australia or someone living in Scandinavia would be reading your work. So sometimes you don't know who is reading, but people are getting benefited with the work that you publish. On the contrary, there are few institutional benefits that I consider are very, very important. You see, I know based on my experience of working with some universities in Asia, I have seen a lot of schools, a lot of business schools, a lot of universities now, they are aspiring to have international ranking recognitions. For example, AACSP, for example, Aquis, and likewise. So people want to recognize their programs. So when it comes to publishing and publishing in journals, it helps to improve your research ranking. It's one of the criterias to rank a university based on the knowledge that it has produced. And the knowledge which has been produced, one form is that you go and publish a book. This is yet another thing. One another is that maybe you publish it some in some conferences. Yet another way is to publish a monograph. Another way to publish is a case study. But the journal publishing is still one of the highly demanding, I would say, activities in academic world, and people would love to have it. Such scholars who can publish their work in international journals. And you see, there is one very important aspect: funding opportunities. Since now gone are the days when higher education um, administrators, they were giving a lot of funds to universities. Usually the budgets have been scrutinized. Now there are no huge budgets for academia in most of the countries, especially in the developing world. So universities can generate their own funds. One way to generate funds, although it's a quite an indirect path, but you should motivate your faculty members to publish in journals. It will strengthen their credibility, and once they become credible and people trust them, of course they will offer them the opportunities to supervise and to conduct the funded projects from the industry. And once you are interacting with the industry, it will lead to industry-led curriculum. Of course, a student body, because what I see that a good publish someone who is publishing in journals should be a good teacher as well, because publishing in journals requires a lot of depth, lot of thinking. And if you can think from a diverse perspective, if you have the depth which is required in a particular field, I guess you are a good teacher. And there are some other parameters as well, of course, that may or may not have something to do with publishing. For example, being ethical, for example, being on time, for example, giving positive feedback, constructive feedback to the students, um, your moral behavior with the students, and likewise, okay, your command on the subject matter. So all these things, although very subjectively associated, but based on my experience, it leaves an impact the way you think and the way you speak to your audience. And I firmly believe if you are able to publish in journals, publishing in journals will help you in so many ways in your teaching. It will help you to design innovative assignments. It will help you to design some innovative projects. It will help you to rethink about the course outlines. It will help you bridge a gap between industry as well as the academia that we are talking about. And of course, you should be the first drop of rain, even if there is no research culture. Keep on trying, keep on publishing. You will become the stepstone to establish a research culture in a university. And of course, one of the most important benefit for institution is that universities are under a lot of criticism from society, a lot of criticism from industry for the irrelevant education to the graduates and lacking in a lot of skills among graduates. So I would say that by publishing in journals, you get yourself connected with the industry, with the society, with the peers, So you get to know a lot of things. These are a few of the reasons that you should publish in academic journals. And of course, from my pocket is that it's a soothing effect, intrinsically rewarding, that you feel uh, I'm contributing to the society. My work is being benefiting people. So it's a virtue in its own self that you are able to indirectly and sometimes directly help your peers, your students, your friends. They are benefiting from your work. Now, reading a journal, how to understand that what are the aims as well as the scope and relevance to you for a journal. I will take example based on my experience. I worked as an editor for British Food Journal for 2 good years. So you can see this is a generally new website for Emerald Publishing these days, and this is a web page for front page of British Food Journal. If you go through there, you can find a lot of other links. For example, table of contents, get a sample article, subscribe and buy, call for papers, submit your paper. Then you see some other explore the journal, and journal description is there as well. If I read it for you, they say for over 120 years, the British Food Journal continues to be highly respected worldwide for its broad and unique interdisciplinary coverage of the latest food-related double-blind peer-reviewed research. That is what I was talking about. So if you take some points out of it, 120 years, unique interdisciplinary, double-blind peer-reviewed journal. Okay, so it means that you will submit your work and you don't know who will be going to evaluating your work. And also this journal has huge credibility. They have been there since last 120 years. And also it is unique in its own self because it is interdisciplinary, at the same time having their focus on food. I'll be talking about it. Now, aims and scope. This is again from the same journal website from the Emerald. They have mentioned their aims and scope, that they say that British Food Journal welcomes empirical and applied research articles, viewpoint, case study, literature, and journal reviews for disciplines related to consumption, business management, marketing, health, welfare, and education, sustainability, and environment. So you can see the holistic nature of the journal its own self. You see, I'm not making a point that every journal is as holistic as British Food Journal is. Sometimes you have some other journals like International Journal of Bank Marketing. They are quite focused journal. If you have something which is in the field of, let's say, telecom, International Journal of Bank Marketing will not publish it because it is not within the scope. So before submitting your article, I would highly recommend that please read the journal website. Please read the scope. Please read the description as how the editors and the editorial team has actually described the journal, mention the aim and scope, the what are the areas that editors are looking after, and then prepare your article according to the guidelines given over there. And there is one suggestion here that match the keywords of your article with the aims and scope of your journal. This is yet one technique to get your article, probably, I don't know if I should say or no, quickly, to get it quickly published with international databases, international journals. Moving forward now, the character of a good quality journal. Now, often people ask me that, okay, we agree what you are saying. No, what is a quality journal? So a quality journal to me, despite being interdisciplinary, it has its own speciality. Okay, it could be interdisciplinary, like Journal of Services Marketing. It is quite interdisciplinary, but it has its own speciality. If you have something in manufacturing, you should send it some manufacturing research journal. Okay, likewise, International Journal of Bank Marketing I spoke about. Likewise, there are so many other journals from Emerald. Education journals will publish education related research. Food related research will be published by food related journals. So please keep a check on it. A characteristic of a good journal is that despite being interdisciplinary, it has its own speciality first. It has a rigorous peer review process, and please, it takes time to complete because reviewers, they are busy people, they are academics, subject experts. They might be teaching, they are teaching in the universities. They are the ones who are maybe performing some consultancy assignments. They are the ones who are evaluating the work of the students, the research work, and also the teaching load they are managing. They are performing the administrative tasks. Someone might be head of a research degree program or an MBA program or a master's in healthcare program, right? So they are busy people. And quality reviewers, it takes time for them to sit, to relax their nerves, and to focus on evaluating an article. So it has a rigorous quality journal has a rigorous peer review process, and it takes time. And time varies. I cannot give a quick look into it that this is a fixed time that you should follow, but it will take some time. The journal is transparent in sharing information. For example, if you need data file, they are ready to share with you, with the, of course, with the permissions of the ones who actually own the files. And they will also let you know the acceptance rates. And if you want to, if you're like willing to ask about the review reports, they would be happy to share it with you. So they are transparent in sharing some information which they think should be shared. And another important characteristic of a quality journal that it is listed, indexed by databases that are recognized globally, like Scopus, Web of Science. These are the few databases that we generally refer to when it comes to social sciences, publishing in social sciences. Particularly if you speak about business and management, we have Australian Business Deans Council, then Chartered Association of Business Schools. They offer some ranking where I should publish my work. And also the editorial board, this is one another indicator that signifies the quality of a journal, is the editorial board. It comprises of members who are recognized globally for their research work. Now, quality parameters. I spoke about quality of a journal. What are the quality parameters? This is a website of a journal in Emerald. And look, they have mentioned, I have underlined it, like Asian Business Deans Council, they have underlined it. Journal quality list, they say they are category B. Okay, so they have underlined it. Likewise, some other databases, they have underlined it. They have Scopus score, they have Scopus site score, they have Clarivate impact factor, and they also have this 5-year impact factor. These signal the quality of a journal. What are those quality parameters and how I can benefit as an author from those quality parameters? Often people ask me how to search for a good journal, okay, for a quality journal. So I will quickly let you know that how to search for a quality journal and where. For example, this is a web interface for Web of Science. What generally I can do, I would give you an example. I typed here Journal of Management Development, okay. And for Journal of Management Development, they are telling the publisher, the ISSN number, categories that the journal belongs to in Web of Science core collection. They are into Emerging Sources Citation Index. For some journals, they would say it is under probably Social Sciences Citation Index. And for some, they would say this is under Science Citation Index. Okay, so you can have a look at the journal from Web of Science. And this is one method to identify as either the journal where you wanted to publish is a good journal. This is yet another example, although example is for 2019. They issue the Australian Business Deans Council. The last ranking that they issued and they shared with the scientific community was in 2019, 6th of December 2019. So you can find there are journals with a 2019 rating category B, C, A star, etc., etc. So you can find a list of Australian Business Deans Council. It is free available, and you simply go Control F, type the name of your journal which you wanted to find, and you can see the ranking. Usually A and B is recognized as high quality journals. C, even, I mean, they are the ones which are probably struggling, and in the next coming years either they will be dropped down out of the list or they will be the ones who will be improving themselves. So it's quite a, you can say, a sign for journals to get themselves improved with the passage of time. Then we get another ranking that we used in business schools, particularly the academic journal guide. Last time it was issued in 2018. Again, you can see that a journal, for example, Accounting Review, and they are telling that in 2009 it was ranked as 4-star journal, then in 2010, 15, 18. So it shows that the journal is consistent over the years. 4-star is the highest category, and it shows that journal has actually progressed. Likewise, if you see Accounting and Business Research as a journal, they are stagnant at 3. Likewise, Abacus, they are stagnant at 3 again. 3, 3, 3, and 3. They are not moving to 4, and they're not either moving to 4-star. So if you are aiming for a career which you think that you should be able to grab some funding, you should be able to work some Ivy League schools, top schools in the world, they would probably follow these rankings: the Australian Business Dean's Council and Academic Journal Guide. And in journal, if you talk about, this will be like the Web of Science. If a journal is listed there, I would say it's enough. Now, finding a journal with Scopus, simply go to their website, schemajor.com, index.php. You will go there. You can find this website very easily. Go there, type the title of the journal, and something like that will appear. I typed Personal Review, which is a journal published by Emerald. So this shows H index, which means quite a high H index, which means that the journal is progressing well, and the authors, the submissions to acceptance, quality submissions to acceptance ratio is improving with the passage of time. This belongs to United Kingdom as a country. Their subject area coverage, they started in 1995 and still ongoing, and all those links which are there, and about the scope of the journal. So from Scopus website even, you can identify that which journals you should target and move forward. Now the interesting part of my presentation today is how to identify fake journals. There are few elements. For example, first of all, the website would be amateurish, nonsense, and the images are of poor quality, signaling non-professional gestures. I mean, I would not like to see an image of a male and a female smiling at each other in a scientific journal which publishes work in the field of philosophy. Why should I? So being an author, I should be wise, sensible in a sense, and I should sense that what is happening around. I mean, why the website of a journal is amateurish, what these images has to do with the scope of the journal, number one. Number two, journal is not associated with a reliable publisher. Okay, and when I say reliable publisher, definitely I mean Emerald, I mean some other publishers as well, which has earned their reputation over the period of time. So such journals which are not associated with a reliable publisher raise a lot of eyebrows among academia. I'm not saying, please, that all those journals which are not published by publishers are of low quality. No, not all journals are of low quality, but a huge number of journals actually get benefit of it, that because they are not associated with any publisher, they charge fee, they deceive and cheat on the authors, they hide the names, the real names, they hijack other journals. So my suggestion would be that when it comes to publishing, please select some reliable publishers, because even if the journal has just started, journal is not highly scholarly, the publisher will make sure that international standards of quality are actually met. Another sign that journal is not indexed by Scopus, Web of Science, and emerging sources citation index, and you can find it by yourself. I mean, the method which I told you, simply go to Scopus website or Web of Science website, you will find either the journal is there or no. Interestingly, Scopus people, they review journals on a continuous basis. So sometimes they will drop few journals. So it is not a mortal list, okay? That once a journal is listed in Scopus will always remain there. No, no, no. They will get it evaluated. Like same goes to Web of Science. Same goes to some other quality databases like Chartered Association of Business Schools, Australian Business Dean's Council. On a continuous basis, they will evaluate your journal, its quality, and its overall aroma, its overall persona, as what journal is doing in terms of its contributions, in terms of its guiding to the scholarly community and contribution to the body of knowledge. So all those journals which are not either indexed by any of the databases, again I would say as a big question mark, either I should publish or no. Generally, email addresses sometimes are not given, but sometimes email addresses are given which are quite a fake email address and quite odd email address, which does not indicate. For example, my email address is, let me give an example of my own self. My email address is kashif at the rate gift, which is my university where I work, gift.edu.pk. So what you can intelligently do before trusting on me, simply go to website gift.edu.pk. Does this university exist? If exist, am I exist on the website? So you can clearly find the scholars there. And I would recommend you that do this activity with all the people whose names are mentioned on the journal website. Their emails, sometimes their emails are not institutional emails. So this is one very important indicator that either sometimes Hotmail, Yahoo Mail, and some very odd type of email, hero at the rate of this and something like that, very odd email or some integers, does not tell us that where the editor belongs to, what is the institutional affiliation of an editor or the members of the editorial board and some other members who are there in the committee of a journal. So no email address and sometimes very deceptive email address as well as contact information is given. um, they consider your work as a product, as a commodity. I don't mind they consider it as a product and as a commodity, but when it comes to science, there is no other compromise. Science is simply science. You have to use the scientific filter in order to evaluate article. You have to use the parameters which are outlined by scientific community, accepted by scientific community. Publishing only for money and telling authors that okay, we'll charge you this money and then your work will be published. I guess that is pseudoscience and should be avoided by you. I will give you an example that how this business is booming. By yourself, spot the issue, please. Let us have a nice read of it. Dear authors, congratulations. While I was the only author, so I spotted a grammatic error over there, a sentence structure error over there. Again, following the review of your research articles, while I submitted one article, we are pleased to convey that CN, except with minor corrections stated at the end of this mail. Again, very non-professional. The paper is accepted due to its good quality as compared to other submissions. No, come on. Is it the way? Is it the way that you will compare my work with other submissions and then you will get it accepted or rejected, and likewise so many other things. For example, they are asking for 150 US dollars, and likewise they are telling that they are ISI index. Actually they were not. They are telling that your article will be published shortly after the payment is received. Now what happens? The bargaining starts, just like buying a jacket from a second-hand jacket from a market, from a bazaar. Finally, for poor countries, they say the fee is 110 rather than 150. I'm afraid that publisher will not publish your paper. It is the least fee among all ISI index journals you know. And again, they say that okay, final it would be 100 US dollars. No, come on, identify a few errors over there. Poor grammar, sentence structure, the email which was drafted to authors. Number two, that the method which was told to me as an author, it was just an experiment I did. The the editor told that my article will be compared with other submissions. This is not the way usually articles are evaluated. You need to have a scientific filter to do that. And also they are bargaining on it. So please avoid such journals, those who ask for money. Again, there is yet another thing. Let me give you another example. Now, when a journal in the field of pure sciences, physics in particular, chemistry, biology, they ask you for money, makes a lot of sense to me. Why? Let's say I'm a physicist, I'm a scientist. I conducted an experiment in a lab, okay, and now I want my peers to evaluate my work. Now, how would they evaluate? Unless until they will buy some material from the market or from the university research centers, from the university laboratories. They will buy some material and they will conduct a similar experiment. So for that, definitely they need money. They will not buy it from their own money, so you have to pay for that. But why in a journal in social sciences, particularly in the field of business and management, education, why someone will ask for money? Because there is no experiment to be conducted. There is no cost. Review work is a voluntary work. So then why I should pay for my article? And yet another argument, if I have huge list of journals available which publish for free, why to opt for journals which are asking for some money for some fee? Few other elements and then I will move forward. The journal will invite you graciously to by writing them the author's emails. Okay, sometimes you will feel that you are not less than a popular professor who is requested by a journal. And trust you me, please trust me, my peers, highly experienced people in academia, they were being cheated, they were being deceived. One good day, a friend of mine came to me and told me, Kashif, do you know what happened today? I said, no, please tell me what happened. You are looking very excited. He said, I am being invited by a journal to write an article for them. I said, really? But have you published? He said, no, I have published one or two articles. A question came to my mind. Why a journal editor will draft an email to such a person who has no publication history, prior publication history in scholarly journals? Why an editor would invite him or her to publish? So sometimes the journals will graciously and overwhelmingly admire you. They will try to tell you what you are actually not, and they will let you know, they will cheat you in a way, they will drown you in the sea of the over appreciation and admiration, and they will tell you what you actually are is not. So this way they will try to cheat you. They will draft fictitious emails. They will ask you that they might have read your work which was published in this journal. Your work was excellent, now please submit to our journal. Try avoiding such journals. There are articles which are invited articles, but these emails are written to people who have actually contributed a lot in a particular field. I would love to invite, maybe I don't want to name anyone because people are respectable. I don't want to name anyone, but I would like to invite someone who has actually contributed in the field of marketing for my own journal, and someone who has spent, let's say, 20, 30 good years having a publishing, teaching, consultancy, and international exposure. Why to write to someone who has no experience? So please think intelligently about it. The peer review process and the reports are surprisingly quick and signal immaturity on part of the reviewers. You see, go back, let us go back and consider here. These are the reviews. Convert the paper in journal format. Few grammatical mistakes, while the person who is writing the email has himself or herself making a lot of mistakes. And cite few latest state of the art what? So you are unable to understand as what is happening around over here. Okay, so peer reviews reports are surprisingly quick. You will submit an article, who knows, within a week you will get a reply and you will be on air. Oh, wow, my article is getting accepted, and who knows, you might be happy to share it on Facebook. But please, before you do it, before you are getting cheated by these people, please consider the either the journal is worthy to get your work published or no. So this is yet another sign, surprisingly quick. Number 8, the title of the journal is not making any sense. Can you believe that a journal can be named as International Journal of Multidimensional Research or International Skills Research Journal? I wonder that who will be submitting to these journals, and how, I mean, the authors, they are making a decision that they need to get their work accepted and published by such databases and such journals. So please be more socially intelligent and try to look into that. That what this name, does it make any sense to you? And to me, at least as an academic, I'm sorry, it does not. Then the selection of referees is tricky. And I again pose a question to you, the scholarly community. Why would a journal in education would like to have a professor of chemistry on its editorial board? If this makes sense to you, I would say please go ahead and submit your work then. But to me, if there is a journal in education, yes, there can be some people who are honorary board of review, editorial board members. Yes, that makes some sense. But for the people who are going to review my work in the field of education, the one who is a professor in chemistry, I'm sorry, I would not trust such journals. And finally, even the published papers are poorly formatted and typos can be found over there. So these are the 10 signs that signal that the journal is of questionable quality and you should avoid such journals. This is a very important website. I would like to share it with you. It's a Yale University library, and you can find here a list of suspicious journals and publishers. So by clicking on it, you can find potential, possible, or probably predatory journals which are open access by open access publishers. And then, of course, there is a great debate, the publish or perish by Beall's list of suspicious journals, and it will be continuously updated. Okay, and you will find a huge list of predatory journals. It will benefit you as a scholar. There are some realities. I would not go into much detail of it. There are some realities which we need to understand before I suggest you that where you should publish. For example, doctoral programs with limited coursework, they are training the scholars or no? That's a big question mark. Less emphasis on research after people complete their PhD, because soon after, most of the times I have observed that they are being like they are requested to work for some they're requested to work some to hold some administrative positions. Someone might become a head of a program or might become a dean of a program. What I suggest is, my understanding is that once you get a fresh PhD, allow him or her 2-3 good years to publish the work, to bring some credibility back to the institution where he or she is working and to himself or herself, and then engage him or her into some administrative roles. That is just a suggestion. Yet another reality in higher education, of course, is lack of public funding for research, and the universities, institutions, they have to generate their own funds. Lack of appreciation for scholarly publications, because generally mostly the private sector universities, they are looking into the benefit in financial benefit in specific, that in the shorter period of time either their research is being like making them capable to bring some money back to university. That's a big question mark on part of the universities when we talk about the sustainability of a university, particularly the private sector universities. So I've seen lack of scholarly publication by universities because they are most of the times they are looking into the financial benefits, and they want their faculty to hunt for some collaborative opportunities with industries, some collaborative opportunities with the government sector organizations, so that they can bring some funds for the university in order to ensure the sustainability. That's again a big question mark, that research articles, either they are being taught by the professors in their classes, or is it like that I published something and shared it with my friend and I asked him or her, please share it among your students and ask them to critically review and give me some feedback. So that's a big question mark, because my research, my publication should directly benefit my students first. They are the first audience that I'm going to address as a teacher. So I should share among them, the friends, the colleagues, the students, and then to the wider community. Of course, they will get benefit somehow, but a question mark is that either as a researcher, as a scholar, as a professor, I'm sharing my work with my students. If no, then there are big question marks that why not? Why not? There could be possibility someone might be shy, but there are some other reasons as well. The quality of the manuscript, the quality of the journal, and some other issues are there as well, which we need to closely look into. And the love for scholarly adventures is actually shadowed by quick and irrelevant publications. When I say quick, I say I can speak my heart, because a lot of people ask me that, sir, please tell us a mantra, tell us a magic or a trick that how to get quick publication. And sometimes I just like sit and think that what to tell you, that how to be quick. Quick is nothing actually, it's quite a subjective term in academia. Quick varies. Sometimes quick is 6 months to me, sometimes quick is 1 year. One of my articles was recently published by a journal in Emerald, and one of my students was quite surprised to see that it took article 3 times, 1.5 years. Okay, and now since last few months, a lot of publishers, including Emerald, they are working to minimize this lead time, and I guess it will benefit the authors a lot. So the love for scholarly adventures is actually unfortunately shadowed by the quick and irrelevant. I wonder sometimes, if I'm a professor in marketing, what is the point of getting my work published in a forestry journal? Why? Why not into a marketing journal? If I were you, I would like to get my article published in a non-impact factor journal, published by prestigious databases such as Emerald, rather than to get my article accepted and published by irrelevant journals which are not related to my own field. Multidisciplinary, yes, that is a different debate. Interdisciplinary as well, yes, but that's a different debate. That doesn't mean that I publish all 70% of my work to furniture research while I am into sociology. Okay, and of course, a lot of people, a lot of articles, they are into substandard journals, and people criticize that no one reads them, no one bothers them. And this is one reason that academics are, that like their respect is a big question mark. Their teaching, no doubt, they might be very good teachers, or they might be very good researchers when it comes to methods, but where their work is being published, that's a big question mark that we need to keep in mind. Finally, my suggestion for a good journal, it should be, a good journal is someone which is recognized by databases, which is listed under prestigious databases such as I mentioned, Scopus, Web of Science, and the like. This is one thing. It has a regular readership. For example, the journal is publishing over a decade, and they are not new. Even if they are new, they have nicely uh, uh, developed a thought that who are their readers. Either they are a pragmatic journal, their view is towards industry, or their philosophy is to serve the society, not only society, not only industry or a holistic community, or they are there for, let's say, a particular industry, as I mentioned, like International Journal of Educational Management, Journal of Marketing for Higher Education, Marketing Intelligence and Planning, International Journal of Bank Marketing. All these are journals. They have brilliant focus. They know who, from where their readers are coming from. And to our journal, South Asian Journal of Marketing,